Good morning, Turks and Caicos. I hope this video find you all well. I thank God that I am well myself. Today I complete my 14th day of quarantine. So this will probably be my last video from quarantine. However, I doubt that it'll be the last video that I do. I have made a few videos from here, and I've made several statements, some controversial. I make no apology for anything that I've said from here. I stand by everything that I've said. While my intention was never to insult, belittle, or infringe upon anyone's rights, I do reserve the right to speak freely in the Turks and Caicos Islands. I don't speak freely anywhere else because I am not a citizen of anywhere else. I take the liberty to speak, and only recently I have lived for, as you can see, I'm a senior man, and I've spent most of my life in Turks and Caicos Islands, and most of you probably didn't know I could speak English because I had remained silent in hope that the more educated and respected folk would pick up the mantle and say the things that need to be said in this country. But since apparently those people that you hold in such high esteem prefer to cower in the shadows and remain silent, then I will have to be that stone, because I can no longer sit quietly and see wrongs and infractions being doled out to my people and sit quietly by as if nothing's happening. So that is why I have chosen to speak my mind. And like I said, these videos may have come across to some as a government bashing or foreigner bashing or something to that sort. And I want to show you that nothing could be further from the truth. The government of the Turks and Caicos Islands is my government, and I reserve the right to hold their feet to the fire, whether I voted for them or not. Whoever wins the government becomes the government of all the people. And you campaigned and claimed that you were the best man for the job, and so don't hold it against me when I hold your feet to the fire and require of you that you do the job that you were employed by the people to do. Whoever gives you your job is your boss. So when the people give you your job as a minister or leader of the country, they are your boss, and they are who you should be responsible to. Those people who are, including the governor and others who get their job from the British establishment, that's who their bosses are, right? So you local politicians, we the people are your bosses, and that we the people includes me. And so when I call you out and require that you give answers and results, it's not because I hate you or I am against you or anything. I want you to do what you claim that you can do. Okay? So when you win the government, the majority of the people have said that they think that you can do the job better than the other side. And so that's why you get your job. And so don't feel bad, don't get angry and take it personal when we, the people, hold your feet to the fire. Okay? So that being said, and I want you all to know, like I've said in some of my other videos, I'm not doing this for anything for me. I have lived this long. I have done well in my life. And I continue to do well. I continue to live. I don't need to do some videos to be able to live. Like I said, I do this now because I've come to the place where I feel that it's necessary for somebody to say something. I do this because I would like to spark a debate about the issues, the pertinent issues of the day in our country. I'm not looking for anything personal for me from this. I stand for the independence of Turks and Caicos Islands, self-determination for Turks and Caicos Islands. That is my position. I am not the leader. Nobody else seems to be interested in doing it. I welcome the input from other like-minded people. I welcome someone more qualified, more probably respected than me to step up and take the mantle of the early PDM government and Jakes McCartney. I welcome that. I don't need to be the front man for independence. I don't need to be the front. I'm not looking to get into politics. I am hoping to stimulate the minds of the youth and help them to understand that there is a better way than what we are experiencing in our country today. That is my interest. So I don't want anybody to think that I am not neither a PNP nor a PDM. I am not registered with any party. Like I said, I've voted for both parties before in my life, and I will not be doing that again, except I see a leader take charge of one of those parties with an independence agenda. Then I might reconsider. Other than that, as long as this status quo politics, you lambasting me, I lambasting you to get the job so I can get paid, we can get paid. No, I'm not going to participate in that. Right? So yeah, I am just reserving my right to speak about the things that are dear to my heart. And I saw a statement from a citizen this morning, and a lot of the stuff that he said echo some of the things that I've been saying. But there was one thing that he mentioned that I want to disagree with, and I'll give you my reasons. He suggested that, what are the troops that have been brought in doing to help the situation? And I want to suggest to him and to all of you that do not call for that. Do not call for those troops to be on our streets, because that is exactly what they want. We have a police department. Let the police do their jobs. We do not need British troops on our street. That is not a good image for us to portray. There is no situation in this country today that warrants there to be British soldiers with long guns on our streets. I don't support that. I don't encourage that. I don't want to see that. We have a police force that's supposed to be fully staffed. Let the police do their jobs. Okay? That's my 2 cents on that issue. And somebody needs to give us a clear explanation of what these people are doing here. Why are they here? I have heard that they are here to lend assistance to the police and to the medical community of Turks and Caicos Islands. And from where I sit here in isolation, I have heard that that is not happening. So if that is not happening, what are their purpose here? Why are they here? I'm very suspicious of their presence here, and I don't want to see them on our streets because that, for me, is the beginning of martial law in this country. And we do not need that. Right? And I want to clarify a few things that I said in some of my previous posts. Like I said, I apologize for nothing, but just to provide clarity on a few things. When I say the British, I am not referring to the British public. I'm not referring to all British people. I'm referring to the establishment. Okay? I'm referring to the establishment that have killed and mutilated and overthrown and controlled by force 3/4 of the globe. I'm talking about the establishment. I'm not talking about individual British citizens who have taken up residence in Turks and Caicos Islands and started businesses and raised their families and contributed to this society in a positive way. I am not talking to you. I want you to understand that clearly. All right? I'm not, when I talk about the British, I'm not talking about any individuals who mean well by this country and this people and this economy. Okay? I am not suggesting that anybody who means this country well should leave. As a matter of fact, if you are a British citizen that have gained your citizenship in Turks and Caicos Islands, I want you to feel a part of this country as me and my siblings. And I want you to feel free to join with myself and other like-minded people to rid ourselves of the scourge that has been British colonial rule. And that goes to all other citizens from all other countries, whether Canadian, American, or from around the Caribbean. Once you have attained your citizenship through the proper channels, a citizen is a citizen is a citizen. And when I single out native-born citizens, I do that because I'm talking to them specifically. But when I speak to native-born citizens specifically, that does not mean that I include you as a citizen. Okay? So let's get that straight. I have said in my earlier posts, I do not hate, I do not support hatred, and I don't want anybody to take my videos as any form of hate speech, because that is not my intention. That being said, I would like to suggest that we all reevaluate all of what we have learned and initiate a probe, a search for truth and for a better reality for our Turks and Caicos Islands. Okay? Because obviously what we have been doing for the last 40 years has not been working for us. It has to feel ridiculous to you, Turks and Caicos Islanders, that we have had 17 different British governors of this territory, which we call home. And of the 17 of them, on their exit from Turks and Caicos Islands in retirement, not one has ever returned to Turks and Caicos Islands and set up base here and participated in our society and made any meaningful contribution to our society. Don't you find that strange? If these people come here with any good intentions toward us, don't you find it strange that none of them have taught enough of us, have taught enough of this place to return and become a part of the progress of this country? I find that highly suspect. 17. I think, I'm not quite sure, but I believe we've only had about 10 different chief ministers and premiers. Some 4 premiers and some I believe 6 chief ministers. Don't quote me on that number because I could be wrong. It might be 1 or 2 more. But you get the point that I'm making. There have been 17 British governors, and not one have returned in good faith to be a part of our society. Don't you find that suspect? That maybe their intentions were not good in the first place? Yes? So, I invite you to reconsider the way you think about what's going on in our country. Right? I invite you to investigate and find the root of the problems in our country. I'm not suggesting that I have all the solutions. I have some. I have some. I can make meaningful contribution to the construction industry. I can make meaningful construction in the agricultural industry. And those things I do, and I plan to continue doing on an even greater level. Okay? I have worked and built buildings in 5 different countries. I speak 3 different languages. When I say I've lived and worked in 5 different countries, that means that I know how people live and operate in 5 different countries. Very few of us can say that, but I have that experience. I say that to say that I have meaningful contribution to make to this country. Right? And I will not be silenced by ignorance nor fear. And when I say that, I mean that ignorance nor fear from any section of the populace. Okay? I have no fear at this point in my life. What can happen to me now? I've already lived more than half of my life. If I don't make meaningful contribution now, not suggesting that I haven't already, because in Providenciales alone, I have more than 20 structures that I have personally built. I have built buildings in 4 different islands, in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Okay? Just to give you a little background on me. So I'm not no Johnny just come. Right? And that's why I can speak with authority on issues Turks and Caicos Islands, because not only am I from here, I have been operating here for over 30 years. Yes? And so I invite you, like-minded Turks and Caicos Islands. I understand that leadership is hard. I understand that once people get in government, they realize what they ask for is actually a hard job. I understand that. I don't think that your jobs are easy. But you ask for it, do it. Right? And be upfront with the people. And we, citizens of Turks and Caicos Islands, we have to begin to hold the government's feet to the fire. If we don't agitate, if we don't say anything, that means that we are okay. Right? There's an old adage that says the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if we are cool, calm, and collective, like everything is all right, the government has no reason to think that everything is not all right. So I don't want to belabor the point. As you can see, after 14 days in quarantine, I'm fine. I've shown no symptoms of any virus, and hopefully I'm out of here today or tomorrow the latest. All the things I say with love and concern for us all. And at this juncture in our development, I fear that if we don't make serious changes, we are going to regret it in the future. And I'm happy to be on record as having said that we need to chart our own course into the future without the meddling of the British Empire in our affairs. That being said, I heard of another shooting on yesterday evening that actually involved one of my young cousins. People, we have to speak out. We have to stand up. We cannot continue to lose our young men to violent crime. We have to insist that law enforcement do their jobs. I guarantee you, if any of these crimes were happening on Grace Bay to people that don't look like us, there would be massive efforts made to solve these crimes and fix the problem. Why don't we demand the same thing in our neighborhoods? Apparently it's all good as long as it's only happening to us. So, that being said, like I said, everything I say it with love and concern, without any ulterior motives. I wish only the best for you all and for our country. And on that, I'll say thank you, and until the next video.